Hello and welcome to Keeping It Real, a show about anything, everything, and real estate. I want to thank you for joining me. I am your host, Mark Dalton, and being Movember, I want to talk about men's health and wellness. So we have a very special guest today, teacher, mentor, practitioner, all around great human being. I'd like to introduce you to my wife, Caroline Dalton. Caroline, thank you for being here, taking time out of your busy schedule and talking about health and wellness.
You're welcome. Great to be here.
She didn't really have much of a choice. No, I'm just kidding.
My own home. I'm glad I was invited.
So I want to pick your brain about what you feel is most important when it comes to men's health. So why don't you name the top 5 things you feel men aren't or should be doing to improve their well-being?
It's interesting. I'm going to back up for just a few seconds there. In my line of work, I'm very fortunate to actually have a lot of men in my world and a lot of male clients that are comfortable to come see me. So I think it's great, and I get to my top things for what I see in a lot of my male clients. That's hard. My top 5.
Top 5. Or 6.
Is what's the question again?
Name top 5 things you feel men aren't or
right.
should be doing to improve their well-being.
Okay. So one is finding their team. And what I mean by that is finding people that can look after them holistically, like mind, body, and spirit. And finding someone that can do energy work. Men, they don't go there. They don't want to for some reason. And it's so important because men, women, it doesn't matter, even animals, we hold stuff in our body. And to find a really good energy practitioner that can help just release some built up stuff that we all hold on to. So that's number 1. Be open to that. Be open to the woo-woo in that. They're really, and what comes up in that. It's not terrible. No one bites, but find someone you can trust. So talking about life and emotions and all of that stuff is, women, we're really good at it. We can talk, and we're not afraid to talk about what's going on in our world and emotional, with our emotions and everything. So just finding someone, I wish more men could just find someone they could talk to without feeling embarrassed or anything else. We're human. We all hold the same stuff, really, we do. And we all have our own stories, and they're beautiful, and they should be shared. 3, really getting in touch with their spiritual side. We're human beings. We hold both. We hold the physical, the human part, but the being part of ourselves. There's a big world of exploration there. And however that looks for you, it could be religious, it could not be, but just really opening up to this spiritual side, and however you want to dive into that, it's really important, because at the end of the day, we all need something to believe in, and most of it we need to believe in ourselves, but believe that we're supported on such a grander level, on a grander stage.
The bigger picture then. The bigger picture.
The bigger picture. Yeah.
Okay, that's 3.
4. With men and mental health is, I think, just overall, just taking care of yourself. Whatever that is, finding something that you really enjoy doing, and and sharing it. I think, like sharing your passion, and especially, if you're blessed to have a partner in your life or your friends, like sharing what that is, like being creative. And I think a lot of us, and we get caught up in our everyday lives and our to-do lists and having to like maintain like a roof and food and all of that stuff, and we get stuck in the mundane. And to really remember to be creative, like find your creative expression and weave that in to your work, into who you are every day, into your life. So creative expression is, I think, I do see men do that, but not a lot. And I think we all have it, and more men need to do that. 5 is allowing yourself to be emotional. And I know it kind of ties into the first couple, but to allow emotions to surface, to not hold them, is, I think, we're programmed, a lot of us, maybe not this new generation coming up, but this older generation in, men need to be strong, men need to, don't cry, that kind of mentality. And that really needs to, we really need to deprogram, men need to really need to deprogram from that and be vulnerable, to show vulnerability. And it's really hard to show vulnerability because we have this notion that vulnerability equals weak. But if we can change the narrative on that, and that vulnerability is actually strong, I think we'd see a lot of men be healthier.
So you think getting rid of that old world mentality?
Yeah, and that is changing, that we're this generation that we're in, that really is changing, but we're still in this hustle kind of mode as well. And but yeah, there's still that narrative, that story of like what a man should be, if we're going to put labels on things.
Fair enough. I think that's interesting. I think in today's society, and I know so many people feel the pressure with the cost of living and the economy. I think right now so many families and couples, or even singles, are feeling the pressure of both parties having to make enough money to survive. So I think it's really compounded these days.
100%. And again, getting back to mental health on that, there's always challenging times, and we are in one of these cycles of that. And no matter what your situation is, it goes back to, I think that was number 2, is communication, is to talk about your stresses, about your emotions in that, and not just hold it. Both men and women, especially, when we're trying to just survive instead of live, we hold a lot of that in. And but yeah, that's the balance of like of being human, is be able to talk. And yeah, men don't have to hold it all, neither do women.
I agree. I think, on my list, one of the things I put was seeking professional help when things are not going as planned.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of men, like you mentioned, go inward. They keep everything locked inside, and okay, I'm gonna work harder. I'm gonna, everything's gonna change. But I think, some advice that I've been getting lately from professionals is, hey, Mark, here's a card. If you ever need to talk to somebody, go see these people.
That's just it. And we can talk to our partner, our spouses, as much as we want, but there is so much value in talking to someone else, whether that is a counselor or whether that is an energy practitioner when things come up, because not that you can't talk openly and freely with your partner, but sometimes it's just easier, and you can work through some stuff, that, and get an outside perspective, which is kind of nice and unbiased.
Unbiased and anonymous as well.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
And that's healthy. There's nothing wrong with that.
So here's some of the things that I put on my list.
Okay.
Or maybe, I don't know, I don't want to call them superficial, but I think these are more kind of maybe daily rituals that I think a lot of men and women, of course, have to keep in mind. And because it's things that I have to remind myself to do every day. And one is a daily affirmation, which means you have to remind yourself to love yourself, to give yourself a break. Be thankful for the things that you have and everything around you. Get outside. So physical exercise is a big part of, I think, our well-being. Eating right. You are what you eat. It just is so true. And these are little things that I try to change every day. And what I used to think maybe was a healthy, morning diet maybe turned out to be not so healthy. I think the other thing too is to read books, and it doesn't have to be reading. It can be an audiobook. It can be watching YouTube. But certain books, I know you touched about spirituality, and you let me listen to that Conversations with God, and I think it was a real eye-opener for me to get in touch again with my spirituality. It's not necessarily dealing with any specific religion, which I appreciate. Some people, depending on your beliefs, you might find it contradictory. One really cool thing I enjoyed was that one of the voices of God was Ed Asner. So if you remember Ed Asner from TV in the 70s and the 80s, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think, that brings to number 6 is ritual and routine, and is to get into these habits and ritual. And if that's in the morning, so getting up that extra little bit to get some exercise in, to quiet the mind down. I think more men, you need to more embrace to go internal for that meditation, and to write, to journal. Men don't journal. Men do, sorry. I'm not going to speak for all men, but to journal. And there's a lot that can come out on paper, and it doesn't need to make sense. And so it's finding this ritual that works for you. That is all part of being healthy. And gratitude is the secret sauce for everything, is this daily ritual of gratitude and what you're thankful for. And even in I won't swear in here, but even the most
Thank you.
crummiest days, the crummiest days that you have, you can always find something to be thankful for. And we all do this as humans, and we go to bed oh, it was the worst day ever, but we should never do that. So finding ritual in your daily routine is very, very important, and we all need to do it, and more men. And Conversations with God, Neil Donald Welsh, he is an amazing author, and I do highly recommend that book. And it's not religious, it's open to all perspectives on that. And
it is. It's a wonderful book. So check it out, listen to it, read it. It's pretty inspiring. So I want to talk about one last thing, and that is something that Caroline now practices on a daily basis, and that is cold plunging. So walking into a very cold ocean. And why don't you explain to everybody the health benefits that you feel you get from this experience? Because I'm still working up the courage to do it. I will get there, but I'm a spectator up until now.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's a very personal experience. And, to go back on men's health, one of my partners that I started a group going on 2 years now. And he has plunged every time. And he's actually the one that encourages me to go in when I don't want to on a daily basis. So I'm really thankful for him and his presence. Cold plunging for me, as I said, is very personal. There's lots of benefits, and I'm sure you can Google all the benefits. But for me, it allows me to feel my body, and like we said before, I know myself, and then a lot of people have a tendency to hold a lot in, and so when I go into the ocean and the cold ocean, I'm forced to feel. And of course, it goes into your fight or flight response. And unfortunately, a lot of us live in our fight or flight on a daily basis. And what it does is it teaches me how to be safe in that, how to naturally get my body out of this state of stress, to breathe through it, to push past my edges, to tell my body that I'm safe, and to feel my way through that, and then come into this place of homeostasis, of balance, of safety, and work through the emotions that arise from that. And it helps in everyday life. So when I'm in stressful situations in my life, when I'm in anxiety, when I'm in this state, I know I'm safe. I can not let my adrenals take over, and I can respond instead of react to that. And for me, it's I can feel, I can go through my emotions, and especially in the water, just being held there. And then this of connectivity, of unity, of, not only am I there sometimes by myself, but with people. It creates conversation. You're in there together, encouraging each other to push a little bit beyond your edge, to know where your edges are, and to connect in that way, but to connect with everything in that water as well. It does, over time, when you can relax into it, it's a very profound and experience on all levels. And of course, it's natural dopamine. It's, if you're in chronic pain, it's good. It's just good for everything. And I love it. It's part of my ritual.
I think there's a very good point in that, just being social.
It is.
And I think it's a big thing for depression as well.
It is.
Is to be social and get out and talk to people, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your neighbors.
Yeah.
It's just so important.
Cold water is good for depression too.
Cold water. Just getting out of the house in general.
Yeah.
It's coming into the winter months now. On Vancouver Island here, we've had a lot of rain. I think we're having some weather come upon us here pretty shortly. It might get pretty intense, but you do have to get out of the house. And
we go rain or shine. You're getting wet anyway. So, and again, it's pushing past your boundaries, past your edges. And that's the only way we grow, is out of our comfort zone.
So, regarding health and wellness here in Nanoose Bay, Caroline is holding her next sound bath meditation at the Nanoose Bay Library. That's on November 26th, 7 p.m. We'll try and leave a link for that. And then she's also holding a very special retreat in Greece from May 19th to May 30th, 2025. Did you want to say a brief thing about that?
Greece, my retreats, they're beautiful. They're not like a full-on yoga, have to put your leg around your head, and no, they're frequency retreats. And I'm very blessed. As you know, I've been asked to play in the most craziest places, and I've brought my bowls around the world. And so we go to these places, to these activation points, and this one is Greece, and we get to just feel into like the ancient wisdom of these places and activate a remembrance in us while having fun and going inward a bit. So it's great, men, women, whoever wants to join. They're beautiful, and a lot of magic happens. You can ask the past people. We were in Costa Rica last year, and it was spectacular.
I think it's amazing, and if you have the ability to join this group, sign up for that. I want to thank Caroline for joining me today and talking about health and wellness. I also want to mention this month we lost a very special PCA member, John Clark. Today's program is in loving memory of John. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please share this video if you think there's anybody out there that could use some inspiring words of wisdom. See you in the next episode. Take care. Don't forget to live, love, and laugh. Bye for now.